Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives, do I give to you. Christ gives peace, but not as the world gives it. There is a peace that the world can imitate for a moment, but it cannot sustain it. It can offer a distraction, a comfort, an explanation, control, entertainment, medication, money, applause, escape. Some of those things may have their place, but none of them can do what Christ does. None of them can reconcile the heart to its creator. None of them can make the soul whole before God. Jesus speaks these words to his disciples on the edge of sorrow. He is not giving them peace because trouble will be absent. He is giving them peace because trouble will come. The cross is near, confusion is near, fear is near. Their entire visible world is about to shake unrelentingly, and Christ does not pretend otherwise. He does not offer them shallow optimism. He offers them himself. My peace I give to you. That phrase should slow us down in our tracks. Not borrowed peace, not fragile peace, not the temporary calm that depends on circumstances behaving themselves. His peace, the peace of the Son who rests in the Father's will, the peace of the shepherd who knows the valley and still leads his sheep, the peace of the King who is not surprised by betrayal, death, grief, or the weakness of his own disciples. The interior movement here is from borrowed calm to received peace. The unformed heart keeps asking the world to quiet what only Christ can quiet. It looks for peace in managed outcomes and controlled environments. It says, if I can just get this resolved, then I will be at peace. If I can just know what happens next, then I will be at peace. If the world would just calm down, then I will be at peace. But the peace of Christ does not wait for all the furniture of life to be arranged before it enters the room. Christ gives peace while questions remain. He gives peace while enemies still speak. He gives peace while grief is still honest and while tomorrow is still hidden. This does not make the Christian careless. It makes the Christian rooted. The Lord's peace is not numbness. It does not make us less human. It does not forbid tears, concern, planning, or even lament. Jesus himself wept. Jesus himself was troubled in the spirit. But his peace means that the deepest place in the soul is no longer owned by fear. The storm may still be real. The grief may still be heavy. The questions may still remain. But Christ is not waiting for the room to settle before he speaks peace over his people. Our age is anxious because it has more tools than it has trust. It can track everything. It can predict much and explain endlessly, yet still cannot give rest to your soul. We carry devices that can tell us what is happening across the entire world in moments, but they cannot tell the heart how to be reconciled to God. They can alert us to danger, but they cannot give us peace without our Maker. Much of modern life is built on the promise that more control will finally make us calm, more information, more security, more options, more updates, more plans, more insulation from pain. But the result is often not peace. You know this. It is surveillance of our own instability. We watch everything, measure everything, and anticipate everything, yet still lie awake with a soul that cannot sleep. The world can lower the volume for a while, but it cannot reconcile the heart to God. That is why worldly peace is always conditional. It depends on the market. It depends on the diagnosis. It depends on the election, the relationship, the bank account, the reputation, the body, the weather of public opinion. When those things shift, the peace shifts with them. It was never anchored deeply enough. Christ gives that to you differently. Not as the world gives do I give to you. The world gives in ways that can be taken back. Christ gives from the permanence of his own life and authority. The world gives a peace that often requires denial. Christ gives a peace strong enough to look reality right in the face. The world gives by changing circumstances where and when it can. Christ gives by ruling the heart even when circumstances remain difficult. This is not a call to become passive about the real burdens of life. Bills must be paid. Children must be raised. Bodies must be cared for. Decisions must be made. But all of that labor changes when it is carried by a heart that has received peace instead of trying to manufacture peace. The Christian does not have to pretend the world is calm. They know it's not. The Christian has to remember that Christ is King. That remembrance must become more than a sentence that we just say or a thought that we approve of. It must become the place from which we live. If Christ's peace, if it's real, then we do not have to be discipled by emergency. We do not have to treat every disturbance in life as though it has the right to govern our bodies, our homes, our words, our prayers. We may be concerned, but concern does not have to become captivity. This is especially important for homes, for churches, and for ordinary daily life at the grocery store. Peace is not only a private feeling, it becomes an atmosphere that you exude. A light, you could say. A heart reconciled to God speaks differently, waits differently, corrects differently, receives bad news differently. The peace of Christ does not make us float above the world. It makes us very present in the world without being owned by its fear. There's a false peace that avoids truth because truth may disturb the room. That is not the peace of my King. There's also a false courage that keeps the room in constant agitation because calm feels like compromise. That is not the courage of Christ. The Lord's peace is clean enough to tell the truth and deep enough not to be shattered by it. So the question is not merely, do I feel peaceful? The better question is, where am I receiving my peace from? If peace comes only from favorable conditions, then Lord help you. Then conditions are Lord. If peace comes only when people agree with us, then approval is Lord. If peace comes only when the future appears manageable, then control is Lord. But if peace is received from Christ, then even a troubled heart can be summoned back to the one who says, "Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid." That summons is not a scolding. It is a shepherd calling his flock, his sheep, away from cliffs that they cannot see. He knows how fear narrows our minds. He knows how anxiety makes small things look ultimate and hard things look impossible. He knows how quickly the disciples, and we with them, can forget everything he has already said when the next wave rises over the boat. So he gives peace before they know how much they will need it. He gives peace as inheritance, not as wages. He gives peace because he is going to the cross, rising from the grave, ascending to the Father, and sending the Spirit back. The peace of Christ is not a mood. It is anchored in the finished and reigning work of Jesus Christ himself. Peace is not found where Christ is absent, and it is not lost where Christ remains. Still is.